In this video, we're going to review how to solve multi-step equations. We have two practice problems to work on. Number one says 41 plus 2s plus 35 plus 2s equals 360. On the left side of the equation, we have four different terms. Some of them are just numbers like 41 and 35. Some of them are variable terms like this plus 2s and this other plus 2s. So the first thing that we're going to do to work towards solving this equation is we're going to highlight the like terms, highlight the terms that are similar to each other, that are alike. So first thing I'm going to start with is all of the terms that are just numbers, all the terms that don't have a variable with them, that don't have that letter S. So 41 and plus 35. Something to think about when we're highlighting like terms. And when you're highlighting like terms on your own, you could highlight with a highlighter on scratch paper. You could circle or put squares around the terms that are alike. But you want to make sure that you're including whatever symbol or operator is just to the left of that number. So notice with the 35 here, I'm including the plus sign. That goes with the 35. This is plus 35 or positive 35. Likewise, with the 41, there's no symbol or operator to the left of it because it's at the beginning of the equation. But because it's a positive 41, we can assume that there would be a plus sign here, okay, if that 41 were located in another position. The only way this would be a minus 41 is if this were a negative number, if there were like a negative or a minus sign in front of it. Okay, so we've highlighted our like terms, we've highlighted our numbers, the 41 and the plus 35. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to rearrange this expression on the left-hand side. And we can do this because all of these terms are either being added or subtracted. Actually, in this case, they're all being added. But whenever we have addition and subtraction, we can rearrange the terms. We can put them in any order that we want as long as we keep the symbol that's in front of it, the symbol that's just to the left of it. We have to keep that with it. So this plus stays with that 35. And we said that this 41 really does have a plus in front of it as well, even though we don't see it here. So you can see that plus 41 is written right there as well. Okay, so now we have all of our S terms together, 2S plus 2S, and all of our numerical terms together, plus 41 and plus 35. Now we're going to start to simplify this equation. We're going to start to perform inverse operations and ultimately solve for S. Okay, so next step, we have plus 41 plus 35. The inverse of addition is subtraction. And the opposite of that is true as well. If we had had a minus over here, the inverse of subtraction is addition. Okay, so we have plus 41. The inverse of plus 41 is minus 41. Plus 35, the inverse of that is minus 35. Okay, and on the next line, we're going to simplify this even further. On the left, we have 2s plus 2s, okay? 2s plus 2s is equal to 4s. 2 plus 2 equals 4, and then you just keep the s with it. And on the right, this is where we're going to do our calculator work, okay? We have 360 minus 41 minus 35, okay? So 360 minus 41 minus 35 equals 284. Okay, so that's where we get the 284. So now we have 4s equals 284. On the next line, we're going to perform another inverse operation. We have 4s on the left. 4s is really 4 times s. S is being multiplied by 4. The inverse of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. Okay, so on the left now, we're just left with s. And the reason why we're just left with s is that we really did 4s divided by 4 on both sides of the equation. But when we do it on the left, the 4's cancel and we're just left with that variable s. On the right, let's grab our calculator again. We still have 284 in the calculator. Now we're going to divide by 4. and we get an answer of 71. Okay, so S is equal to 71. This is our first example of solving a multi-step equation. Let's take a look at another example of a multi-step equation. This one is longer and a little bit more complicated. So this one says W plus 32 plus 79 plus 37 plus 2W minus 47 plus W minus 36 plus 31 equals 360. We're going to really go through the same process that we did with number one, okay? So let's take a look at the first line. First thing we're going to do is we're going to highlight either with a highlighter on scratch paper, or you're going to circle all of the numbers that don't have a variable with them, all the numbers that don't have a W, okay? And remember, we want to capture the symbol that's just to the left of that number because that it goes with it. So we've got a plus 32, I'm going to highlight that, plus 79, plus 37. I've got a minus 47, a minus 36, and a plus 31. Okay, and then on the next line, I'm going to rearrange. I'm going to put all of my W's first. So I've got W plus 2W plus W right here. And then I've got all of those numbers that don't have a variable. And notice that we moved them around, but we kept the symbol that was just to the left of that number. So this was a minus 47. We kept that minus with the 47. This was a minus 36. We kept that minus just to the left of the 36. Okay, plus 31 plus 31. On the next line, we're going to start to perform our inverse operations. Remember, the inverse of addition is subtraction, and the inverse of subtraction is addition. So take a look. On the left, we're just going to copy down our variables, W plus 2W plus W. On the right, I've got 360. We have a plus 32 on the left, so I'm going to do minus 32. The inverse of plus 79 is minus 79. The inverse of plus 37 is minus 37. The inverse of minus 47 is plus 47. The inverse of minus 36 is plus 36. The inverse of plus 31 is minus 31. Basically, I rewrote all these numbers and I flipped the symbol. So if I had a plus, I switched it to minus. Okay, if I had a minus, I flipped it to plus. On the next line, this is where we're going to simplify and we're going to do some calculator work. We've got W plus 2W plus W. Anytime you have a variable that doesn't have a number in front of it, we can assume that that's a 1. So this is really 1W plus 2W plus 1W. 1 plus 2 plus 1 equals 4. 4W. On the left, we're going to grab our calculator. Okay, so we've got 360 minus 32 minus 79 minus 37 plus 47 plus 36 minus 31 equals 264. Okay, so on the next line here, we have 4W equals 264. We're going to continue performing inverse operations. We've got 4W, that's 4 times W. W is multiplied by 4. The inverse of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. Okay, on the left, 4W divided by 4 just gives us W. On the right, grab that calculator again. We still have 264 in the calculator. Let's go ahead and divide that by 4. And that equals 66. So our very last line now, we know that W equals 66.